Welcome, food and fitness lovers, to Tina's Ageless Kitchen. I'm Chef Tina Martini. You might know me as the Medicine Chef. Welcome, food and fitness lovers, to Tina's Ageless Kitchen. I'm Chef Tina Martini. You might know me as the Medicine Chef. Well, today in the kitchen, here comes summer. We're going to start with an Ancho chili-lime corn, and we're just going to do it really fast in the pan, but of course this is beautiful on the grill as well. So I've already shucked and cleaned my corn, and we're all ready to go. Now remember, chefs, corn and soybeans are the two top genetically modified crops in the United States. I don't know about you, but I don't want to eat food that's been made in the lab. I really prefer nature for my food. So try to select locally grown organic corn if possible. All right, I've got my pan heating here. I'm just going to put in a little bit of grapeseed oil or olive oil, whatever you like. And we're just going to brown the corn on all sides. So get the pan nice and hot. And then again, I've already cleaned the corn, so I'm just going to throw it in the pan, and let's do a few ears at a time. Now, corn is sweet. It's loaded in niacin, which is a B vitamin. And as we know, B vitamins really help us manage stress. So this is a great way to enjoy some sweet as candy summertime produce and really get some stress-preventing B vitamins. Niacin also helps the blood flow, and that's why sometimes you'll hear about the niacin rush when you take a niacin supplement. It really opens up the vascular system and helps that blood get flowing. I've got something else to help the blood get flowing, and that is our Ancho chili powder. So I'm just going to mix that Ancho chili powder right in our melted butter. And of course, there's nothing better than real butter on the corn in the summertime. So I've just mixed that together. We're done with our oil for now. Let's go ahead and season it up. Now remember, the salt is going to bring up the sweetness of the corn, and I'm going to use a little black pepper. Now all the different kinds of pepper add a different layer of flavor. We've got red pepper, which is known as cayenne, and that gives that really nice heat on the palate. The black pepper is more pungent, and white pepper is more floral. So you can use whichever pepper is appropriate for you and your family's taste. All right, so we're just going to let that corn brown a little bit on each side. And as I said earlier, you could do it in the husk on the grill. Now, I may not have mentioned leaving it in the husk, and if we're going to do that, we want to soak the corn in ice water for at least 30 minutes before we put it on the grill. That way, that's going to prevent that husk from going up in flames and setting a bonfire on your grill. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Just use a pair of tongs just for safety, because once that oil gets hot, of course, we don't want to burn ourselves. And we're just going to get a little color on the corn. You can see that it's starting to caramelize naturally. And yes, corn has a lot of natural sugars in it. Now, sugar seems to be the bad word in our society right now. And what you need to understand, chefs, is that sugar, or a simple carbohydrate, is part of our macronutrient profile. Now, macro is the Latin word for large. And the complex carbohydrate, of course, is the slow burn sugar. And the simple carbohydrate that we find in corn is the quick burning sugar. Now, that's how we get the quick burst of energy that we need throughout the day. And then the fiber in the corn helps us to slow burn the rest of the sugar in a complex way. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Looking good. And we'll just keep getting color on that for just a few minutes. All right, once this has got the color that we're seeking, and of course I like a little more of the golden brown, as I said earlier, let's go ahead and add a little bit more fire so we can move this along. We're going to brush it with a pastry brush with our butter and our Ancho chili powder. When you're doing this on the grill and you're using the whole corn as well as the husk, remember, as I said earlier, to soak it in the ice water, and then we're going to wait on our butter and our chili powder. Just put that corn on the grill. You can close the lid of your grill and get all that nice crispiness on the husk that's going to infuse that corn with a smoky flavor. Now, once you've cooked it, take it out and let it cool. And then you can take the husk off and brush with the butter and the ancho chili powder after that. Now, does chili powder have any medicinal benefits, chefs? Well, of course it does. It increases blood flow, and you heard me mention blood flow earlier today. Our entire show is about increasing blood flow. So the chili powder helps us do that. The grapeseed oil that we use to brown the corn in is going to act like a roto-rooter and pull any plaque out of our arteries. It really gives us a good assist on cleaning those arteries. All right, we've got some pepper popping, and we're smelling good in here. This looks like enough color for me. All right, let's go ahead and take it off the fire. Fear not, we've done this before. You just want to get that release of the essential oils in the pepper, so it's going to help infuse the whole thing with flavor. All right, let's take our little pastry brush, and that's always a good tool, and we're just going to brush it with the ancho chili butter. Yummy. That's going to be great. And you can see that it gives a really nice color to the corn as well. And I'm going to go ahead now and finish it with a little bit of fresh lime juice. Just get that first brushing done, and that's going to give the butter and the chili a chance to really infuse that corn. And then go ahead and add a little bit of your fresh lime juice to finish it off. And I'm just going to pour this right over and get a generous amount on the corn. That's perfect. We can set that aside. And it's smelling great in here. We'll be right back with a cold summertime soup you're gonna love. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ageless Kitchen, and we really are going for the anti-aging today. We have our corn already set aside and holding warm in that beautiful chili lime butter. All right, we're ready to make love in a bowl. That's right, this is a summertime soup that's gonna be served chilled. Now, I love fruit soup. It's one of my favorite things to make. I make roasted fruit soups and all different kinds of things, but I also like to blend the vegetables with the fruit as well. And what's better than the summertime melons? Now, there's lots going on in our summer fruits as far as phytonutrition. So let's go over some of the things that we're going to use. Now, this may be very familiar to you in that it's very similar to a gazpacho, but generally, traditionally, a gazpacho is thickened with bread. And since everybody's kind of cutting down on their bread consumption and going gluten-free, although you certainly could select a gluten-free bread to thicken this soup, I don't really think it needs it. So today I'm just going to make a nice fresh summer soup celebrating tomatoes and melons, as well as some of our other favorite vegetables like cucumber. Now, speaking of the cucumber, very classic in summertime soups, I've got one here, and it's just a regular cucumber. We're going to take the skin off, of course, because this is a little thick, and if you're buying conventional, chefs, this has been waxed heavily. Now remember, any fruit and veg that is waxed holds on to any pesticides that have been used in the field. So I would suggest, if you're going to use the regular cucumbers with the thicker skin, buy the organic for sure. Now I'm just going to get a spoon and take the seeds right out of here. Now, a lot of people will say that, oh, I don't like cucumbers because they make me burp, but you could also use the Persians if that was the case. But Persians aren't always available, are they? So I'm going to go ahead and just take the seeds out of our regular cucumber here. So let's just take that right out into the bowl, and we can discard that. Perfect. And then you just take the skin off. Now, it's really the goo around the seeds that cause our stomach upset. So if we just have removed that nice and clean, you're going to find that you have a lot less of that gassy stomach. We've got something in the soup that helps with that gassy problem, if you will, and that's fennel. Now, I love roasted fennel. I love fennel on the grill. So if you're throwing your corn on the grill, and later on we're going to do some grilled shrimp, shrimp, I would suggest grilling the fennel as well. Now it gives that nice licorice or anisette flavor, and it also is a very powerful hormone balancer. More than anything though, it's going to knock down any gas that we might incur or create from eating all of the raw fruits and vegetables. All right, what I'm going to do is leave some of our fruits and vegetables whole because, as you know, I really like food with texture. You certainly could blend the whole thing if you wanted to though. So we're just going to blend half and leave half for that nice texture. All right, so we're going to take it to the blender now, although you certainly could use your food processor if you wanted to. Whatever tool works for you. You could actually leave it chunky if you wanted. So I'm going to put in a low sodium vegetable juice. You could use regular tomato juice if you wanted. Let's get that out of the way and make some room. We've got all kinds of beautiful things here. Now I've got cantaloupe and watermelon, although I certainly have used honeydew and apples in this soup, whatever you like, chefs. Again, it's nice to have some soft things like the tomato and some crispy things like the celery. Let's get to our melons here. Now the watermelon, great news here. It's loaded with lycopene, and that's heart health as well as prostate health for our men. But here's another thing that you may not know is in the watermelon. There's something called citrulline in watermelon, and it's nature's Viagra. So if you love your husband and you want to get frisky yourself, ladies, this is the way to do it. Now the citrulline, again, nature's Viagra, and what it does is it relaxes the blood vessels specifically in the pelvis. Now when we have great blood flow in the pelvis, well, I think you know what that's going to lead to. So let's blend half of our watermelon. Now let's be careful here and not have a big splashy mess all over the place. I'm just going to kind of help that in. Cantaloupe, a great source of vitamin A. It really is calming to the skin and really helps us retain moisture. Now everything here as far as the fruit and veg, very high in fiber. Fiber is one of our #1 ways to calm heart disease, prevent heart disease, strengthen the digestion, and also to manage diabetes. So if you happen to be one of the millions of Americans that are afflicted with diabetes, this is a great soup to help you manage that. I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice just to freshen it up. Lemon juice works well. I've got a little bit of purple onion with our anthocyanins and our allium compounds. Here goes our fennel for that nice digestion. Got a little licorice flavor to it. We've got a little bit of Tabasco here just to spice it up a touch, and I'm going to add a little bit of our cucumber. Now I think I'm going to use the tomatoes whole and just give that nice texture. A little bit of yellow and orange bell pepper, more carotenoids, more vitamin A for that beautiful skin. Let's go ahead and salt and pepper and bring the natural sweetness up. I'm going to use a little bit of black pepper, but I'll tell you, chefs, the white pepper that we talked about earlier, very floral, and it would be perfect here as well. All right, a little bit of celery to calm anxiety. Remember that Harvard School of Medicine tells us that apigenin in the celery is one of the most promising ways to prevent and possibly be the cure for ovarian cancer. All right, so we're going to flip that on. Now, I wouldn't blend it all the way. Again, we're leaving it just a little bit chunky. All right, so this looks good. I'm going to turn that down and just flip that off. Now, let's get rid of the seeds and the goo here. We don't want that, so I'm just going to dump that in the trash. There's really no use. I know time and time again I tell you chefs don't throw anything away, but in that instance, there really isn't anything we can do with it. All right, we're going to move this. Oh, boy, does that smell great. So fresh. I'm going to add a little bit of our watermelon, getting that citrulline in. There's an old Hollywood trick that the movie stars used to do back in the days, and they would eat nothing but watermelon for 3 days, and the reason it worked for them before a photo shoot was because the lycopene would saturate the tissue and brighten their skin and give that rosy pinkness. Now, I'm not advocating that. I'm just letting you know some of the secrets that the stars used to use before a photo shoot. All right, so there's tomatoes. This actually looks like a nice presentation, just sprinkling around a little bit of the color. I didn't blend up any of our tomatoes because we used a tomato base. I'm just going to decorate with a little bit of fennel and a little bit of our yellow bell pepper. We'll pop a sprig of fresh basil on that, and we'll be right back with our grilled shrimp. All right, welcome back to the Ageless Kitchen, and we really are turning back the clock today. The menu is all about increasing blood flow. It's also about beautiful skin. And one of the best ways to keep your skin beautiful is to make sure that your diet is rich in minerals. Now, we're talking about shrimp today, scallops, crab, lobster, any of the shellfish that you like that turn pink when they're cooking. They contain astaxanthin. Now, astaxanthin is a very powerful antioxidant that does help increase blood flow. It helps to sweep toxins out of the tissues and out of the body, which is going to give us that youthful glow, just like our watermelon in our fruit and vegetable soup. Now, make sure your pan's nice and hot. Let me actually kick up the heat here a little bit, and we'll get this shrimp going. Now, any kind of neutral oil, I'm actually going to use a combination of olive oil and a little bit of grapeseed oil just to kind of keep the heat even, but impart that beautiful flavor of olive oil. So I've got a little bit of the blend that I brought back from Assisi when I visited, and I've got my shrimp ready to go. Now, the first thing here is that you can see I've got the tail on. I like that because it gives the diner a handle, but of course you can use a fork and knife as well. The next point is to always dry whatever protein you're getting ready to sear. Now, even if you're going to throw this on the grill, chefs, we want to make sure that it's nice and dry. Get any little shells off, and I've got a little shell here that I need to clean off. Let's just get that going while our oil heats up. Make sure that the diner's not going to get any of this in their mouth because that can be quite dangerous if it's swallowed. Let's go ahead and pat that dry. I'm going to season it with a little bit of dry rub that I've made here. Swirl that oil around, and we can take that fire back down just a little bit. Now, I've got some granulated garlic and 3 types of chili here. It's more of a chili blend, and that again is going to help with arthritis. It's a great relief for asthma. Why? Because it opens everything up. All right, so I'm going to just dip our little shrimps in the dry rub, and I really like dry rubs, but you can also do a wet rub. The only reason I didn't use the fresh garlic is because it tends to burn when we put it into high heat or also putting it on the open fire on the grill. So we're just going to work that into the dry rub. Now, the garlic, of course, really great to control cholesterol. It really helps strengthen the immune system, and it's one of the best ways to shorten the common cold. So get garlic in your diet any way that you can. Roasted garlic is beautiful here as well. You could even add a little bit of the roasted garlic to your fruit and vegetable soup, and that would complement the fennel really beautifully. All right, make sure you're getting a good coating. I just don't want to put it on by the gob because we don't want to burn it. All right, that's gorgeous. Now, the 3 types of chili that I used here, I picked up some of the ancho that flavored our corn, and you remember we did our chili lime corn earlier. And I also used the guajillo and the cascabel, and that's going to give a little heat as well. Now, the shrimp have an automatic timer, and they turn pink when they're done, don't they? So we don't want to take it too far. We want our shrimp to be tender and sweet. We don't want it to be tough and rubbery, and that can happen with shellfish just like that, so we want to be careful. All right, you can see that we're starting to turn pink, and it happens really quickly. Now, you can even do this in the oven if you wanted to. Now, the pink that we see showing up is astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is the phytonutrient that I mentioned before, and that's our automated timer that helps sweep toxic waste out of our blood. Another thing here that shrimp is high in is selenium, and that's a great essential mineral or a trace mineral. Now, selenium helps with sleep, but it's also showing up to be one of the #1 ways to fight cancer. So who knew in all of this beautiful sweetness, and now we're adding a little bit of a spicy kick with our garlic and our dry rub. You could squeeze a little bit of lime or lemon over this, and of course that would pick up the citrus in our corn, and we've got citrus in our soup as well. We're looking nice and pink. We've got residual heat left in the pan, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that pan off. Let's see how we're doing here. We're looking good. And the shrimp is turned more of that opaque color. Perfect. All right, we're all set. Now, I think with our summertime corn, our fresh chilled soup, and our gorgeous pan-seared shrimp with our super hot and spicy chili rub, I think a key lime martini is just what the doctor ordered. When we come back, we're going to top it off with a very adult cocktail that tastes like key lime pie in a glass. What more inviting to bring in summer? Welcome back, everybody, and here comes summer. Well, our menu today has been all about increasing blood flow, and what better way to do it than ending with a nice cocktail? For summer, how about key lime in a glass? I've got a key lime martini for you. Now, what I've done here is dip the glass, and it's not necessarily a martini glass, any glass that you like will do. I've dipped it in a little bit of the coconut cream and a little bit of the shaved coconut. Now, we've got an ice glass here, and that's all that's in it right now is just the ice and a nice chilled glass. I'm going to do this in lieu of a cocktail shaker in case you don't have one at home. We can always MacGyver, if you will, some tools in the kitchen to help us get through what we need. All right, so I've got some vanilla flavored vodka here, and that's going to be a nice addition to our drink, and a little bit of the coconut cream. Yummy. That gives a little body to the glass as well. I've got some pineapple juice, nice tropical, a little bit of that vitamin C and bromelain. I've got a little bit of key lime juice, and yes, if you can, you want to get the authentic key lime. I'm going to sweeten that up with a little bit of the agave. All right, well, we can just create our own cocktail shaker if we don't have one. Let's go ahead and make sure this is thoroughly blended up. You want to work that cream in so that it gives that nice look of the creamy key lime pie. All right, so we can either use a little strainer carefully, or we can just use our spoon to hold our ice back here. All right, so I'm going to be real careful. Let's see if I can do it, chefs, huh? Okay, there we go. It's working. All right, well, that worked just fine for a cocktail strainer. And if you want to switch it over to a smaller glass, that's fine, or a martini glass. I just didn't happen to have one handy right now. I just wanted to show you the trick with the coconut cream and the shaved coconut, and then you've got a look of real key lime. All right, we're ready to take it to the plate. When we come back, we're going to look at our beautiful chilled summer soup, our grilled shrimp, and finish up with a taste of our key lime cocktail. Welcome back, everybody, to the Ageless Kitchen. We're celebrating the sweetness and brightness of summer. Now, we've got our chilled soup here, and as you know now, watermelon, one of man's best friends. It's got the citrulline in it, which is nature's Viagra, again, increasing pelvic blood flow. Now, ladies, it helps relax us and put us in the mood as well. The lycopene protects our skin from summer sun damage. What could be a better combination? We've got our fennel in there, and that's going to help with digestion and ease any kind of gassiness from eating extra fiber with all of the beautiful summer fruits and vegetables. I've decorated it with a little bit of basil, and that helps with anxiety and mood swings. All of it is good medicine and looking beautiful as well. Serve it ice cold in your favorite dish. Now, I've got some hot and spicy grilled shrimp. We pan-seared ours just for a quick time. You can do it either way. You could even do it in the oven. Now, we've got 3 different kinds of chili powder here that help with asthma, opening up the bronchi in the lungs and increasing blood flow to our chest. Good for the heart, good for the lungs. It also eases inflammation in the body. We've got our Ancho chile-lime corn, and again, no genetically modified corn, gang. Let's go for the organic, and the organic corn is sweeter and more tender. Now, we've got all the beautiful bright colors that let us know our plate is loaded with phytonutrients. And we topped our super blood flow menu off with a beautiful key lime pie in a glass. Well, that's it for this week in the Ageless Kitchen. I'm Chef Tina Martini. Here's to your health.